Hello, my name is Trent Kimball,
I'm Alex.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Zachary.
and this is our project Redesigning Spire.
So we found that Spire as a website is generally very unappealing and problematic. The first issue we noticed were the nested menus, and they were very confusing. The names didn't always make sense, and we found that a lot of users experienced difficulty when trying to figure out where they wanted to go on the website. Creates a lot of confusion and frustration. It has a large amount of white space as well, and this white space could be used in a lot of different ways to actually help the user give them more information about the task they're trying to complete. For example, trying to add classes to their cart. Our project focus was to create a more intuitive user experience for Spire. And the ways we're going to go about that were to create a global nav bar, and removing those nested menus that create the main issues with the website. With that, we're also going to use a better use of white space, most notably for the class search before. And what we plan on doing is we're going to add additional information on the sides, such as the classes that we already have in our menu, and we can so that the user can figure out if the class can even fit in their schedule when they add it to their cart. So for knowledge elicitation, we first started off with interviews of the students' experiences with Spire as it stands. And we also are looking for their perspectives on it as well. And we found that Spire makes simple things very complicated. So our protocol analysis, we found that students that are who currently use Spire show their frustration with different tasks shows what we needed to change with Spire. And particularly, they were unable to find certain information easily, which should have been a lot more easily accessible. Our task analysis, students most used functions were their most used functions and how they are performed.
So the three key points of our design principles were the addition of the global navigation bar, the repositioning of the search bar, and the utilization of white space. With the global navigation bar, we aimed to have the design promote users navigating between the pages and finding what they were searching for. The nested menus certainly did nothing to aid that, and we also took the initiative to rename some of the pages to make it much clearer what they were leading to. For the search bar, we increased its visibility and moved it to a more natural position for the users at the top of the page. For the tasks that we had our users perform, we had them, for the easy task, navigate to the housing profile page and find their mailbox combination. For the medium task, the user was to navigate to the financial page and make a payment. And for their final and hard task, the user was to navigate to their classes page and add the Introduction to HCI class to their schedule. During the storyboarding phase, we created what would eventually become the definitive screen design and navigation. We determined the exact buttons and icons and text we needed, and we also modified some of the tasks that we had to reflect this change. During the paper prototyping phase, we got to interact with the user, simulating the experience via paper, simulating them scrolling and typing, and so on. And we found this to be a rather fun way to recognize any sort of oversights or what the necessary features of our design should be.
So during user testing, we found that many participants had problems with how we placed the buttons, or at the same time they had trouble understanding what the buttons would lead to. For example, we would say, I think the course search it was, when it led somewhere that they weren't expecting. So when we went to go and improve our website, improve our design, I should say, we took those comments and we changed our names around, made it more clear for users to understand what everything led to, and we realized that these side menus were causing a lot of confusion amongst users when we tested them. So we moved them to the top, I believe, making it much more clear. And then for the text on the website itself, we added colors and fonts to make important information stand out and make more sense. Now, when creating our actual high-fidelity prototype, we decided on Google Sites. It's a really great website for creating your design. It has all the tools there, so you don't need to code it from scratch at all. It was really easy to simulate exactly what we wanted to do. The only problem we had, of course, is that we didn't have access to a database, so we couldn't really show a class search function. Now, out of this whole entire project, we learned a lot of things. It was a really interesting process, and we really enjoyed creating our paper prototypes because we really got to see, like, firsthand the process designers have to go through when creating a website, and then the struggles they have as well when we showed it to users. The comments they had helped us see more closely and more clearly exactly what we were doing wrong, and we really came through this with a lot more understanding of how things are done. Now, the most challenging aspect we had, of course, was understanding exactly where to place everything and how to word all our different menus and things to make it more clear for users. And then we were guided completely by the UI design principles we learned in this class. It was a really great experience, and we really enjoyed it.
So, for a quick rundown of our site, we'll start with our easy task, which is to find the housing, your lock combination for your housing. You'll go to housing profile, and then right there will be your mailbox combination. For the medium task, you're going to pay your bill. So you'll go to finances and then view pay bill, and then that'll come up, and then you'll do make a payment, and then you will enter in the necessary information. This one is already paid, but our database doesn't work very well, so you won't see any updates. That's spoofed a little bit, but for demonstrating the UI, it works perfectly. And then our hard task was to add a course to our schedule for next semester. To do that, you'll go to courses, add drop courses, and then you'll go to the search bar, and we're going to add HCI, which is this class actually. And we'll search for that, and it'll bring up, and you'll notice that there's a class conflict with this section. You can see that right here in the information we added here, which is your current schedule. And then here's your gen ed requirements. So in case you need to figure those out when you're doing your course to make sure you graduate. But then you select the course you want, hit submit, and then your course is added. And you can see right there. And that's the quick rundown of our tasks and our courses in general. Thank you so much for watching.